Good Friday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boone, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boone Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Wow. Tomorrow, divisional round. And as Dallas Cowboy fans, we are sitting on the couch as usual. But really, the hard work is now beginning for the Dallas Cowboys because if you watched my video last night, I talked about the Dallas Cowboys are killing me and how football season is a grind. I put on weight, my cholesterol gets up there, my blood pressure gets up there. And now it's about me getting in shape and getting ready for the next season. So I'm going to be doing on a food channel, I'm creating what I'm doing to fight dying, literally. And putting my cooking recipes, my keto ones, my tailgating ones, and all that stuff because I'm working on getting ready for next year. And if you don't plan for next year, you're going to be in the same boat. And here's the problem for the Dallas Cowboys is you won the division. That means we're picking, I believe, 24th in the draft. So you don't have the opportunity that you had last year when you had 11 picks to go ahead and say, we're going to fix the whole team here with draft picks. You've got 21 free agents. You've got a first place schedule, and you're staring down the barrel of knowing that no team in the NFC least or NFC East, whichever one you want to call it, has repeated since the 2003-2004 season. This does not bode well for our Cowboys. You have $13 million over on the cap. You've got a lot of decisions you have to make, and believe it or not, there's not a lot of time to make it because free agency starts middle of March. Less than 2 months from now, you have to figure out who of those 21 free agents you want to pay and retain or risk them going out in the market and getting a job elsewhere. You also have to find the money to pay those athletes as well as get yourself under the cap. You've got some bloated contracts and guys that seem to have not performed up to what you need. And then you got to start thinking about the draft. The possibilities at 24. You might get one compensatory pick because of Andy Dalton, maybe a fourth round, but that will be it. So on top of that, and here's the other part of the equation here, and I got to take a drink. In fact, I should have put some Kahlua in here because Cowboys truly make you drink. The thing that you have to look at, too, is the possibility of losing a lot of your coaching staff. Joe Witt interviewed with Seattle. Kellen Moore is interviewing with all the openings. I believe he's got Denver, Minnesota, Jacksonville out of the way. I know Miami is next. I don't know if New York wants to talk to him, but we also know that Dan Quinn turned down the Jacksonville one. He's done the Denver one. I believe he's done Minnesota. The Giants want to talk to him. Miami wants to talk to him. The Bears want to talk to him. So if he wants to be a head coach, and I'm assuming that he's taking all these interviews because he does, unless he's trying to get the biggest deal that he can from Jerry Jones. You know, when you're dating somebody or, you're kind of dating, it's an open relationship, and she really, really wants you, she's going to go out all these dates to try and make you jealous. Well, right now you got to say, Dan Quinn, if there's any love there from Jerry Jones, he got to be jealous as hell of how many people want you, and he better go ahead and commit and get that friendship ring or that wedding ring or that big pile of money to say, come on back here. Otherwise, you risk losing him. Now, maybe the Cowboys look at it from the standpoint of saying there's other great options out there where we can just get the next Dan Quinn. You got Mike Zimmer, a guy you have relations with before because he was your defensive coordinator before he became the head coach of Cincinnati and Minnesota. There's Nick Fangio out there, another really good defensive mind. Sometimes, and what happens as fans is we look at their deal as a head coach, not understanding the reason why they got the job as a head coach was because they were such a great coordinator. And that's the way we looked at Dan Quinn a year ago. It's amazing that, a year ago, nobody Cowboys-wise wanted Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn? Are you kidding me? That loser that lost in the Super Bowl? And I was like, hello? We can't get to the divisional rounds. You don't forget how to coach. You may forget how to communicate. You may not have the people to do the job. And maybe your job changes from being that offensive defensive coordinator to being the head coach. The thing that made you great, you're no longer doing. You're learning a new set of skills. So it may be we lose that guy. Now, Stephen Jones always says player acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job. And that's the truth because you don't really have any time off here. Yeah, you can take a week or two, but your mind is still looking forward because you have to decide who's the dead weight here, who needs to be replaced, and what gambles you're going to make. We rolled the dice and said, well, Tyron Smith, boom, he's going to be okay. He's going to play the whole season. We don't have a backup plan for that. Tyler Baddish, we're going to roll the dice. He's our center. And we don't have a backup plan for him because we believe that's the guy. And those are the gambles that you make that at the time seem like the right ones. But in retrospect, you don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know who's going to be able to perform. You don't know who's going to come out there like Jaron Kearse and play lights out against the best tight ends in football. And this is where things have to fall in place. But more than anything else, you have to have a coach who can get the guy's attention and believe in you and can follow you through a brick wall. The whole thing of Mike McCarthy thought we were nervous to start the game worries me. Get up. I haven't watched the section this morning. I'm going to play it and see what they have to say because that's the topic. Mike McCarthy thought the Cowboys were nervous to start the game. And I have to agree that we were something. And maybe it's one of those things that you have people that when it becomes crunch time, get nervous. When the games really matter, your butt tightens up and you make mistakes. Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Drew Pearson have all thrown the Cowboys under the bus and basically said the stars of your team, they didn't shine. The stars of your team ended up being more like role players. And that's why they pay you the big bucks, is to shine in the big spotlights. I don't know where we go from here, but I know one thing. The Cowboys have a lot of work if we're not going to regress. I hate to bring this point up. The numbers have changed a little bit, but here's the thing. I remember sitting here and doing this, and I will go back through. And I remember after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I said, nobody repeats the following year, and pointed out, on average, the team that wins the division drops about 3.3 games the next season. Now, for Washington, they didn't drop that much. They got the same win total. So they actually beat the curve more than usual. But it doesn't matter if you've won the Super Bowl because we've had that happen 3 times. Nobody won more games the next year, and nobody repeated. And like I said, on average, the team at the top dropped over 3 games on average the next year. That's a whole mess that the Cowboys have to look up at, and they're going to really have to work hard to change that. I hope they can. I think they got a good core of people, but I think that they're going to need to keep guys like Dan Quinn in the fold to continue with the development of that defense. So let's hear what they have to say on Get Up this morning. We know it's going to be trashing the Cowboys.
You were the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You don't get to take the word back. That's just not the way the game works here, right, Ninko? If anyone knows that, you do.
Yeah, of course.
They're bringing up things you didn't say.
That's just the way of the world, I guess.
So what do you think of the coach saying, I felt it in the locker room during the team prayer. We were nervous to start the game.
Well, it's up to the coach to make the team feel prepared to not have nervous energy and not be nervous. The only time I'm nervous, or if I'm walking into a test or an exam, a final exam, and I'm nervous, I'm scared, I didn't prepare, I didn't study. I'm not ready to go.
Right.
So it's up to the head coach to make the team feel like we're prepared. We've done everything possible to go into this matchup and go out here and play our best. When you're nervous, that means you have questions in your mind on if you can actually get the job done.
He actually went on to say, and you heard it right there, they were cleaner than us at the start of the game. Yeah. And it connected that back to the nerves or the angst, which suggests that the 49ers were ready to play psychologically and the Cowboys, is he saying we're not? I'm flabbergasted by this. Sacho, what is your reaction?
Well, I don't know if y'all saw the video of the San Francisco 49ers before the game with Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, and the boombox and the entire team walking out of the tunnel to the locker room. The San Francisco 49ers were not nervous, and they had no reason to be. A lot of people said, and they were right, they were one of the hottest teams coming into the playoffs. Dallas Cowboys knew that, so they should have been nervous. And so I don't think he should take anything back. I think Mike McCarthy was right. The Cowboys were nervous. They played like it, and that's what we saw. He called a spade, and Dallas Cowboys were a nervous spade.
Well, Dan, you are one who could be sitting there reporting on what it is the coach just said. I'm looking at your face. What is your reaction to that?
We've had this conversation about Mike McCarthy all year, right? You don't call the offense. You don't call the defense. What do you do if you're not preparing the team?
Thank you.
I mean, like that's your entire job, is to set the tone. And so even if it's true, and God knows we don't get enough truth in these news conferences, so thankful for him at least being honest, but it does not put him in a real good place vis-a-vis the criticism he is receiving for the job he did as their coach this year, to say, hey, we weren't ready to play at the start of that game. Hey, buddy, that's on you.
That's right. Nico, I think that the analogy you used is a good one. You know when you're not nervous walking into a test? When you know the answers.
Exactly.
When you know the answers to the test, you're not nervous. When you know what's expected of you, you're not nervous. When there is uncertainty of any sort, that is when you become anxious. And it suggests that there was a level of uncertainty for that team going in. Is this directly from the Joe Judge School of Media Management? Like, you've got the job and then you talk your way out of it? I don't know what's going on.
He probably
that sounds about right.
Or something.
Yeah.
Because you always have that energy inside of you to go play the game, but to be actually nervous, that's a different thing.
Yes, look, and I'm not suggesting, look, I'm sure he didn't mean it the way it comes out, but part of that, your job there is the messaging. So once you put that out there, it doesn't go back.
I mean, at the very least, say, they were cleaner than us at the start of the game. That's on me, right? I mean, unless we cut that part out, I didn't hear that.
No.
So
he felt it during the team prayer. Yeah, go ahead, Sacho.
Yeah, it's on the team chat.
I don't think he misspoke whatsoever. I think the team was nervous. We don't need to talk ourselves out and try to overcomplicate what Mike McCarthy said. They were nervous.
They were nervous. They looked like they were nervous.
And they should have been nervous. Yes, they finally got healthy. Yes, they finally got all their receivers back. Yes, they thought they were going to win. At least a lot of people did. But San Francisco was peaking at the right time. And Ninko knows this. I know this. Anybody who's played football or watched football knows this. Sometimes it's about peaking at the right time. And San Fran was. So the Dallas Cowboys should, in fact, have been nervous. And Mike McCarthy saw that, and he called it what it was. He needs to be better, absolutely. But we don't need to sit here and say that they weren't nervous.
So let's take that let's take it then at face value. I'm sure there are a lot of fans out there watching this who are saying, well, you're going out to play a really big game. Of course you're nervous. You played more big games than almost anybody I know. Are you nervous before a game?
It's an exciting energy that you finally get to go out there and perform. And when you have prepared and you've done all the practices and you've had the time to make sure you're ready, you might have butterflies. But there's a difference between, having that feeling of I'm about to go play a football game and, man, I hope we're ready to go here. I hope
Right.
we can go perform. There's a difference. There's a big difference.
Danny, put a ribbon on it.
Sacho's point is the best point. You see that video of the Niners rolling out of their locker room with the boombox. They looked like they were ready to go kick some butt. Like that was it.
They
And
were ready to
honestly,
go
if I were the
through a
Cowboys and I
brick
saw
wall.
that video, I'd have been nervous. They looked pretty.
I hate to, I can't disagree with that because you saw they weren't worried about a damn thing. And they came out there and they played like a bunch of crazed dogs. We looked tight. We looked slow getting started. And that is on the coach. And just like they said, if Dan Quinn's coaching the defense, if Kellen Moore's calling the plays, and you're not taking care of keeping the guys prepared and not nervous, then what are you doing? I would love to know. So it's time to start getting ready for next year. Some of the players will need to get some surgery and work done, get some minor cleanups, or hopefully just minor cleanups, but start the grind literally for next year. And that's what I'm going to be doing as well. You know how we roll, guys. I'm going to head on up to the workshop today. That little switch that's missing for my CNC machine it's on the truck, out for delivery sometime before 8 o'clock. So if I get it early enough and get the machine working, maybe we'll live stream from the workshop with my first cut. So definitely check out Joe Boo's Day Job Homes. That's my other channel. And coming soon, Cooking with Joe Boo, where we'll be keeping track on what I'm doing to get rid of this 270 pounds and get my blood pressure down.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is